Hello, thanks for joining me for another entry into my sonnet series. We are going back to Harlem and the Harlem Renaissance with Countee Cullen, and we're going to show just how dense and how complex traditional sonnet forms can be from another underheralded master. You're catching my theme here. Eventually, we will talk about some better known, perhaps universally known type names. But I'm very happy to be able to find these gems and share them with you from poets whose names ought to be much, much better known. So, without further ado, from the Dark Tower. We shall not always plant while others reap the golden increment of bursting fruit. Not always countenance, abject and mute, that lesser men should hold their brothers cheap. Not everlastingly while others sleep shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute. Not always bend to some more subtle brute. We were not made to eternally weep. The night whose sable breast relieves the stark white stars is no less lovely, being dark. And there are buds that cannot bloom at all in light, but crumple, piteous, and fall. So in the dark we hide the heart that bleeds, and wait, and tend our agonizing seeds. Just so dense, so complex, so folded to like a samurai sword, layer upon layer here. I'm going to just tease out a few things that pick up for me, but obviously we're not going to exhaust all the potentialities of such a rich poem. The first thing that springs to mind to me, this title, From the Dark Tower, I hear a Browning reference. Robert Browning has a long poem, Child Roll On to the Dark Tower Came. And that is a very intense, brooding epic, kind of a strange poem in the tradition. Maybe has some echoes of Milton and Dante in it. So Cullen is picking up this from the Dark Tower here. And what is his Dark Tower? I don't know that the poem completely answers what this Dark Tower is, except perhaps this is the type of thing that might come out of it. We shall not always. So look at that rhetoric, the gambit with which he opens this chess match. It's bold and risky. It's defiant. I come back to that idea so much. A sonnet needs to open up with a bold proposal, and we get that. We shall not always plant while others reap. There's that biblical idea, reap what you sow, or wheat from the chaff. That's echoing around there. But that complexity of contradiction, we shall not, but against something that's always been done. And then this golden increment, putting gold or golden in a language is another risky, bold move here from Cullen. It shines against the dark tower he had in the title. Now we have this something golden, catches our attention. But what is it? What is the bursting fruit? And he says our countenance, how we look, how we show ourselves, won't always be abject and mute. Now he has this new idea that most of the time we're walking around, hiding our gaze from others and not saying anything. And that we live in this terrible world that lesser men hold their brothers cheap. Are the lesser men the racist whites? Are they fellow blacks? who put one another down, or is it just a commentary on almost on biblical nature? The last shall be first. There's so many different ways to read these lines. Clearly, the speaker is saying things aren't right. Things are profoundly wrong here. Others are getting the golden increment, but not the people who need it or deserve it. Shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute? Not everlastingly, while others sleep, shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute. So he's part of a class of people who help people stay asleep, I suppose, beguile them. But they're forced to bend to more subtle brute. You get this oxymoron, subtle brute. It's like giant shrimp, right? It's a contradiction. We don't think of brutes as subtle. Again, it makes it difficult for you to kind of grasp and hold and kind of fix the poem and its intentions and goals precisely. Because every time you seem to understand it or be able to place what he's talking about, it shifts and moves. It's kind of magical in this way. It's so evocative and eerie and powerful. So again, we've talked about this a lot. We've talked about the volta. The volta is a shift. I call it the shift to the eternal, right? And of course, Cullen knows that. He knows the tradition. He understands how sonnets work. So he gives you this eternally weep, which is so powerful. When I read this octave, I thought to myself, this is not easy to read aloud. I struggled. I had to do a few takes for you guys to get this. It was tongue twisting. It was challenging. It was intricate. Look at how just the variety of consonants in these rhymes. I found to say not everlastingly while others sleep was difficult. Even subtle brute was kind of a tongue twister. So that's the octave. Pivoting into the sestet, it's just so lovely, so rich. This theme that he develops, the open golden blooming in the first that they don't that the speaker and his party cannot receive, then in the sestet there's another type of thing blooming, the white stars no less lovely being dark, and these this flower that if it's touched by light, it dies. It's so sad, so powerful. The see how he uses these commas with what we would call a caesura, meaning a break in the line. In light, comma, but crumple, comma, piteous, comma, and fall, end stop. And then the next line, there's no caesura. So in the dark we hide the heart that bleeds. So that this right in the middle of the sestet, right in the heart of it, you get all of these commas, all of these caesuras. He just really underscores and hits home this painfulness of it. By the time you're done, I mean, it's just really, 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 and tremendously rich, satisfying poem that you could just reread again and again from so many different angles. Just shows such Shakespearean genius. It's that type of depth of language that he offers us here. So I think I'll leave it at that. He says it better than I'm ever going to say it, right? So thanks so much for joining me. If you like this content, please do let me know. Hey, this is a type of thing I like to see, and I'll dig up more gems like this. If you want me to go someplace else, so to another country or another place in time, we can get in the time machine and travel together. So subscribe up. Let me know what you like and what you don't. Hit me up in the comments, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again, folks. Have a great one.